Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of CultureCast. CultureCast is a podcast brought to you by Hype Magazine. In this podcast, we're going to be shining a light on influential figures, particularly in the youth culture. And this is the final episode of the season. I am super stoked because I'm here with one of the coolest girls I know. But before we get into that, of course, I am your host. I go by the name of Nomi the Boss Chick. And thank you so much for coming back and back again, because we really do appreciate it. And going back to the coolest girl that I'm with, I wanted to do her intro because I think she's one of the people
sweetie.
that I genuinely just love your intro. And I feel like I can't do it. She can do it better than me.
You know
'cause it's
what's
hers.
crazy?
What's crazy?
Is that you're lying because you can do it, but it's fine. I'll do it because I know you could do it if you wanted to, but it's fine. I'll do it. Sure, gang. It's your girl, Sister You, Jujulet, Sister You to some. To those that are passing by, I hope you guys are well. And to those that are at home, right, I hope you like what you see. And you join the gang and please, I hope you like what you see. And you join the gang and please, I hope you watch you. And you join the gang and please, okay?
Exactly.
Thank you.
See, how good is she? And then she wanted me to steal her intro.
Do you know, I actually had a conversation with someone the other day, and they
Yeah.
asked me how that came about, and I was like, I actually used to rap, and people are so shocked by that. No, don't get ideas. Everyone in the room, their eyes are opening. It's not happening.
This is news to me.
I know.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about that. Let's get into that, right?
Okay.
When did you discover that actually I can rap?
I think I naturally speak fast as a person, so I don't really struggle to come up with the words. And then my friends and I'd be chilling, and then there'd be a
Yeah.
beat, and then I'd kind of like hop on. And then I think when I started my YouTube channel, I'd like to do a little rap at the beginning of each episode.
Oh wow.
So I did that, then I stopped. Keyword on stopped.
So if go it's a beat, you know.
Ngeke ngikwazi eating eat drink yabo.
Oh, okay.
Loosen the
Le
shoulder.
courage le-
Exactly.
Okay, babe.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Firstly, thank you so much for coming through.
Of course.
Stunning.
So do you. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you, thank you.
Yes.
So, for people that don't know who Gugulethu Nyatsumba is, right? I know for most of us, you're like our internet sister or principal ya rona, you know. But for those that have no clue who Gugu is, how would you introduce yourself?
Gugulethu is an entrepreneur. She's a content creator. She is somewhat of a mental health activist. She is a regular babe with many different talents.
Of course.
Yeah,
A woman of many, you know.
Yeah,
Many
you must very important that
talents.
thing to be versatile as a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all in all, somewhat of a businesswoman.
So this is awkward for me again because not awkward. I think that's like a poor choice of word. But we've done this before.
Yes, yes.
But it was on a different platform. So today I was kind of trying to figure out how am I going to go about it. But I thought to myself, I'm going to go about it as though I've never interviewed you before.
Fair.
In case, and I know definitely we're going to have new viewers, you know, that don't know who Gugu is. So take me back to Gugu's childhood, you know, growing up. How was that for you?
I had a really good childhood. I enjoyed it. I was born in Durban. KZN babe, and yeah, we lived there for a bit. My dad got a job, so we moved to the UK, and then from the UK we moved back to Joburg, and that's where I started my primary school.
Yeah.
So I've been based aside for quite some time. After primary school, obviously high school, Joburg as well. Varsity, I went to UCT, and in my final year, I decided to take a leave of absence for personal reasons. But like I say it all the time, my mental health, I was not the good. And in that break, I decided that I wanted to start a platform. I'd always wanted to have a YouTube channel. I wanted to do so with my friends. My friends were taking forever. Like, yeah, Bonang, we'll do it. They never did it. So I was like, I'm going to have to do this thing by myself.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where like content creation started for me.
Yeah.
But kind of like a big family. Like my parents are very involved in their children's lives. We have a good relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't complain.
I like that.
Yes.
So for this season 1 of the Culture Cast, we are focusing on the rise of content creators. And we believe that you're one of those content creators that are doing well in that space, right? And I want to find out from you, what does content creation look like? You know, what's your process of creating content? And where did Where did that kind of begin for you?
I think I've always liked to create in my own little ways in my bubble. Whilst I was at varsity, I didn't really have much room to do so because
Yeah.
school was very consuming. But I think I used to have a lot of fun on my Instagram, especially on my stories. It's just kind of like playing around with images, taking photos of my friends. So that's kind of where like my love for creating started.
Yeah.
But when I took my leave of absence, it was really important for me to give myself the chance to share what it was that I was feeling, to somewhat normalize the conversation around mental health and say that like
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I'm pretty sure there are other people that may not be okay and are
Absolutely.
struggling with the same thing. So I think that's when I started to be very intentional with what it was that I was putting out.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm trying to garner an audience or a community of people that feel very seen and understood and know that things are going to be okay.
For sure.
So yeah, it's kind of like that. My content is quite personal in that whatever I'm dealing with, whatever's on my mind is what I share. I've always said that whatever version of Google exists on that day is what you'll get. So if I'm the girl, I'm the girl. If I'm not the girl, I'm going to share that maybe I'm not the girl and that I'm going through something and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah. Why is it important for you to gather yourself and actually ensure that you're in the right space mentally before you can give us any kind of Google? Why do you think if you're not operating from a place of fullness?
But it was there.
It was
It was
loading.
loading.
From a place of fullness, and then what?
But you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
It was just the ending.
It was just the ending. Okay, how do I
try this thing out? Yeah.
But no, I think the essence of the question is why is it important for you to operate from a cup of fullness?
I think I say this a lot on my platforms in that I don't believe anyone can do their best if they aren't at their best.
Absolutely.
And the most important relationship you have is with yourself. So you come first. If you want to be able to put your best foot forward to work under under a lot of pressure, I think it's really important to make sure that you're in a good place because you can't really pour out unless you're full yourself. So I don't believe in working from an empty cup, especially with my work. I think that I share a lot and I take on a lot as well. So it's really important to me that when I am creating, it is from a good place. Even if I'm not okay, I must be okay with what it is that I am sharing and letting people into. But yeah, I think it's just about, it's me first. Like I love the genge, I love my community, I love my friends, I love my family. But if I'm not okay, I can't show up as the best version of myself. And that doesn't help anyone. Yeah.
Where did the journey of content creation start for you? Like, what was that one video that went out there and you're like, okay, this is it?
It was actually my intro, like my first ever YouTube video. I had a friend who put me in contact with a videographer who was in Cape Town, and we had a bit of a meeting as to like, what is this platform I'm building? You know, how do I want to go about it? And I was like, you know what, my first video really needs to tie in everything. You need to have a good understanding of what I'm trying to do. So we shot it on the beach, my favorite place, and it's like a little bit of a monologue, you know, a lot of B-roll cuts, nyana, ocean there. It's fading. So I felt that when I put that out, I was very proud of it because I'd never really had to think that much about anything I've ever done or put out before. So I think it was that, but also I have a story time.
Let's go.
I have a story time about one unfortunate situation I had with a boy. And people really were receptive to that piece of content. So that's when I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like people know me, nyana. They know of my platform and so forth. The story was funny in hindsight, and I think that's why I shared it. And I had been able to learn my lesson. And I wanted the girlies to never be as down as what I was. Hence why sharing it. But yeah, I think it made me realize that I can tell a story. I can be engaging. I can be entertaining, even if I am talking about something that is a little bit serious or a little bit sad. So yeah, I'd say my intro and that story time for sure.
It sounds beautiful. I've never seen it. So now that
It's not beautiful, girlfriend.
I want to go see.
No, ish.
Now that you've told me.
You're going to message me when you see it.
Okay.
And you're going to be like, Gulu, were you okay? I'm going to say no.
What was going on?
What was going on? Like, okay. No, I was not okay.
But we grow from those things,
Yes.
right? And that's the beauty of life.
Yes.
And I think one thing that I like about you is the fact that you don't succumb to like social media and the pressures around the world. Because I know one thing about you, you'll give your team your social media so that
my life,
for you, Sana.
if I could.
Yeah, like it's just like, okay.
Thanks.
Over to you.
Yeah.
What makes it get to that point?
Oh, what a good question. What a great question. I don't think everyone's ever ask me why I am the way I am
Yeah.
and why I've chosen to operate like that. Social media is cool. It was a hobby, obviously, kiki haha, but I think that as your platforms grow, more people are looking at you. And that kind of makes me anxious because I do believe that in having a platform, you have a responsibility. Whether you like it or not, you are responsible for what it is that you're sharing. You're responsible for the information people are hearing. And I never wanted to do anything too crazy or say like the wrong thing and so forth. So I think because of the weight of the responsibility that I feel with my platforms, knowing that it speaks primarily to a lot of women and young girls at that, I kind of took a step away from social media. You said just now that, I'm very distant from those things. And I think that there was a time where I could have not been distant.
Sure.
I think I was almost like swallowed up by it and by the pressures of social media. And I then took a break. I took a break from social media and I took a step back and I was like, okay, cool. Why do I create? Am I sharing this because I want to share it? Am I sharing it because I'm trying to prove a point? Is it, having people to know about my day in, my day out, or is it coming from a good place? And I think once I was able to work through that, I realized that I like to share when I want to share. And when I don't want to share, I don't want to share. Yeah. And also I think social media is just a lot. We're always consuming people's content left, right, and center. And as a content creator, naturally I'm on those platforms. I like to be avoidant of the places that I work. So, it's always a push and pull, but I think I've really garnered a really good relationship with social media right now, and that when I'm in the mood, I am. And if I'm not, luckily enough, I do have a team who can post whatever work needs to go out in that time. Yeah.
How important is authenticity for you in this journey of, podcasting and just being a YouTuber? How do you ensure that you stay true to self?
I think it's very important. When I had wanted to start my content creation journey, I kind of saw a gap in the markets in that there was a lot of beauty, there was fashion, a lot of kiki ha-has, but obviously I'm depressed, so I'm sad.
And I need to share it with
I
somebody.
need to share it with somebody. I gotta do something about it. And I think I kind of found a gap in that I wasn't really finding content where people were talking through their feelings or normalizing certain conversations. And yeah, that's kind of what really led me to be authentic in knowing that there were people who resonated with my story. And also more than anything, the biggest thing for me is that I have my moments, I have episodes here and there, but I don't say I'm depressed and I don't think I'm anxiety ridden. So it's really important for people to see that if you are going through that, you can come out of it, which is the whole point of my channel. It's you see me talk about these things, but you're seeing me in a different space now. So there is hope and there is a way. But most importantly, I think it's for me. I never want to not be me. I never want to have to show up in a room not as myself, as my loud self, as my quiet self, whatever version of myself exists. It helps me do my job. If I have to step into a character, it could make it that much harder.
And you do it so well, right?
Thanks.
And I want to speak on what you were saying now about you have depression or what did you say about
I have episodes.
You have episodes. And I was saying the other day, I'm once you make depression and anxiety your personality, it sticks.
Speak on it.
It sticks.
Period.
And I've realized that that's what a lot of the youth are doing now. It's oh, but I'm depressed. Oh, no, but I have anxiety. Oh, my anxiety is horrible. And I feel like they're also stuck in this thing of, I can't get out of it.
Yes.
Right? And I just feel like that is nothing but the enemy lying to
100%.
you. Right? But then when do you get that moment of actually, no, man, I'm better than this? Because it's hard to pull yourself out of that dark
It's very
place.
hard.
It's crippling.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm asking you is, how did you pull yourself out of that?
I think mental illnesses such as depression and anxiety are debilitating.
Absolutely.
And you kind of end up in this endless cycle of, I don't feel like I can do what I need to do, and then you're upset at yourself for not being able to do that, but you want to be understanding because you understand that you're not okay. And I lived in that for a very long time. I think if anything, that's what my UCT career was. It was me not being okay enough to do what it is that I needed to do, but me feeling really bad about the fact that I'm not doing this very thing. So I kind of sat in it, and I had almost accepted that my life would look like that. I'd be riddled by depression, and my life is not going to really amount to much. I'm just going to be struggling. Until one day I was no, man, no. I need to give myself the fighting chance. I actually used to hate it when my mom would say to me all the time, choose happiness, because girl, I'm depressed.
How?
What are you
where
Jani,
show me happiness.
Where do I pick this happiness up and just say, but in hindsight now, I understand what she's trying to say, and it's just that you have to choose joy. You have to choose to be better. You have to want to be better, even if you can't. So I think I got to a point where I was okay, cool. I am suffering from this thing, but there are things that I enjoy doing. going to the ocean, going to a wine farm, laughing with friends, going to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And depression also strips you of the things that you love about yourself, right?
sure.
Because, yeah, it's just like, why would I do this for myself? Am I deserving? So it started in the small things, really just giving myself a fighting chance, like allowing myself to almost re-emerge in society because I was in hiding at some point. And I think the little that I did each time, I was like, okay, I feel lighter, I feel good, and I'm actually capable of having good feelings towards myself and for myself. And as you keep going, you're just like, no, man, if I can do that, I can do this. And if I did that yesterday, today can be a better day. So I kind of just always, I just kept pushing myself to do better, and to allow myself to feel better.
And it's possible, right?
It's so possible.
Doable.
It's so
You
doable.
literally have to set your mind to it.
Yes.
And you can get through it literally in a split second. Well, not literally,
But yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think also what you said just now, and that there were lies. And when you realize that your mind is lying to you and the thoughts that you have aren't true and they aren't facts, and that you have a beautiful life and that you made a mistake and mistakes happen, like when you start to have that kind of conversation with yourself and humanize yourself and realize that, like, I'm doing this for the first time as much as what everyone else is,
Yeah.
I'm bound to have moments, but those moments don't define me, and I get to choose who it is and what I want to be.
And isn't it crazy that we're so quick to cancel ourselves out? Like, Google, you will do something wrong to me and I will forgive you.
Yes.
But
But
if
if you can let yourself down, if you can do something towards yourself.
all hell breaks loose.
I read a book, I think it's called I'm forgetting what it's called. The Four something. And he basically speaks to the fact that in the animal kingdom, when an animal does something wrong, it has a moment and it lets go of that. How many times have you kept yourself in jail for something that you've done that you needed to feel once and let go of? And I was like, oh, I was literally in a mental jail.
Reading me for filth.
Bruh. And it's this jail system that you put yourself in. You have the key, you have everything you need, but like you just keep yourself in this thing. So that's my rule of thumb, hey? Like if I am to disappoint myself or feel any sort of negative emotions, I feel it, but once I've felt it, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that I'm learning also every day. So we started shooting last week and we had like a couple of guests. And knowing my background, I'm from radio. So
Yes.
having to like switch from radio to podcast. Obviously it is different, but not too much.
Okay.
So when we started off, I was nervous, but obviously I couldn't show.
Of course.
But I was losing it. And when I got home, I was just like, okay, I had a crappy day. And obviously it was a day after they had announced that Mposi had passed. And I was just a mess that Monday.
Yeah.
But I got home and I said, you know what, for me, it's okay, babe. It's okay. You still have next week. You're going to redeem yourself. You've done this before. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, that was the most liberating thing.
Right?
Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so kind. Oh. Like, I was just like...
Literally, now your tears are happy tears all of a sudden. And you know what it is? I think there's something so beautiful about relieving yourself. We often wait for someone else to tell us. Like, you want to cry to a friend or family member and have them say to you, like, it was your first time. You did your best.
Yeah.
Today was a hard day as is. You know, that's fine. So I think there's so much power in you having autonomy over yourself, your feelings, and being like, I'm saying that it's okay to have a bad day. Like, I had it. I get to move on.
I think what I'm also learning is that it always needs to start with you. The compliments, the judging, oh, Nomi, you should have done better today. You know, that when someone else says that to you, it doesn't faze you. It's just like, oh no, I had that conversation with myself.
100%.
I bet, you know, I didn't need that, but cool, you know. And I think that's what I love about you and your podcast, is that you're so real, man. And again, you do it so well. So the other day I was cleaning and I was listening to your podcast.
Yeah.
And you said something about, you know, sometimes you're tired, like, how about you have nothing to say. Like
like the bundles, they're finished now.
Like, you know, and you just want to hibernate and not talk to anyone.
Yeah.
With that being said, how do you feel your friends hold that space for you?
Yeah. I don't think they need to hold the space for me. I think I need to hold it for myself. I just need them to give me the space to do that.
Okay, Google.
Yeah.
Okay, girl.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think like, and it's hard. It's hard for your friend to need you, then not need you in the same way. You know, but I think that it also allowed for me to see who is truly for my growth, because I was reliant on you, but not for the right reasons. I wasn't strong enough to do it myself. So now that I am strong enough to do myself, you should be happy about that. As a friend, naturally. I do understand that, like, you know, you used to consult me on everything. You no longer consult me, and there is a shift. But I think you can make up for that in other ways. Like, as much as I'm not asking for your advice left, right, and center, we can still touch base. I can still tell you, like, oh, this is what I did today. This is what I decided. And I think the conversation kind of switched from, like, what should I do to, like, I did this.
Yeah.
This is my day, this is my life, show me, this is kind of like where I'm at. And also, and I'm not the best at this, but also maybe letting them know when I'm coming into that season where I have nothing to say, where it's like, it's not even a you thing. It's literally just that I need silence right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because you lose friends from that.
Yeah, you do.
You do. And I have learned again, because I'm in my self awareness journey, growing, nyana. So what I've learned is that people that are for you will always stay.
Yes.
And even your best of friends will leave you, honey.
Can we talk about that though?
Yeah.
I think that the 20s are crazy. The 20s are absolutely
They're
mad.
insane.
They're insane.
I don't think they're real.
Each year, it's a new thing.
Hypo.
It's a new. When you're saying forever, wara, mina no banbani, forever arrives, babe. It's over.
It's over.
It's over. And I think that, like, I have just really come to understand that this is a time where I should be losing long-lasting friendships because I have changed so much. And if the change is too much for me and your change is too much for you, like, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. I think we should really normalize the conversation of losing friends. And I'm not saying, like, be drama-ridden and nasty about it and all of that. But I'm just saying, like, okay, Nomi, like, okay, babes, you're doing your thing now. Like, all right. And maybe I feel some type of way about that and I don't fit into your life anymore. Like, that's okay. There's still love. But, like, the biggest thing that you have to do is commit to Nomi and her story.
Absolutely.
What is best for her may not be what's best for someone else.
Gugu, and that is the most difficult thing. And again, I think losing best friends. And I went through that last year. But I think this is the strongest I've been.
I love that.
And God is just like, but babe, you said remove and reveal. You said I must remove and reveal.
Yeah.
Those that aren't for you.
Yes.
And it's always so crazy because it's always the people we don't expect.
Yes, babes.
And that
it's the people you're
hurts.
blind to.
Yeah.
You're making excuses. You're ha. God's going to be like, okay, cool. Great. Do you know that remove and reveal is a part of my daily prayer? So when things come up, I'm like, I asked for this. Like, instead of being overwhelmed, I'm just like, you know what? It's a lot. It sucks. But Nomi, you would rather be shown now so that when you are in a more serious place in your life where you are dealing possibly with the family, where you are bigger than what you are now, that everyone around you is for you. I do not want to be deep within life, manja, and I'm chilling with a hater.
Now you know everything about me. Now you know my family, you know my mom, my dad.
Everything. Like you're set up. No, thank you.
Like, you know, I had a friend and we had an argument and she had the nerve to come for my home. During the argument, I'm not laughing. During the argument, she said, oh yeah, there's so much I could have said about you and your home.
Okay. How do you respond to that? Because what do you mean by the thing that you're saying?
I'm like, you had so much.
So much. Not even I could have said. You have so much to say about myself and my home.
And for the longest time. And you know what scared me? The weekend before that, I slept at her place.
Imagine.
So I'm like, you could have killed me.
You could have killed me. You could have killed me. You could have gone through my phone. You could have went through my family chats. You could have written the most crazy message. You could have done so freaking much. And that's my issue, is that even when people fight with friends, I have a rule. And I mean, I am a little bit strict, but I think I know what I'm protecting because I've been someone who is just very open to everything. If you are having a disagreement with someone in your life, they have the right to vent to other people. They have the right to seek, counsel from those around them. But there is such a big difference between that and, like, I don't know, can I swear? I can't swear? No. There's such a big difference between that and just speaking horribly on someone. You know, when someone says something like that, like, there's so much I could have said about your household. Like, how long have you been feeling like that? For me, you're showing me so much. I wasn't even aware that was a problem, but now you're making me realize that, like, oh, there was a bigger problem here. Like, what?
And that made me realize that you're not a friend.
You're not a friend.
And you know what? In as much as I regret having you in my life like that, it's a lesson learned in the toughest way possible. And I feel like ever since that, God has just been shedding anything
left, right, and
that's
center.
not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And again, it's my strongest. I've been the happiest alone. And I'm just like, God, what are you teaching me in this moment?
Yeah.
In this moment of being alone, in this moment of just coming back to self, and allowing my career to take off the way that it should. And I'm just like, guys, trusting God and having faith.
Yeah.
It will test you.
To the core, babes.
It will test you.
Also, one thing about God is, like, you open up your life to Him. You say, come live in my heart. He says, okay, great. Now let me make sure that you're dependent on me.
Yes.
That was the year I had. You see how you're talking about like things being revealed and having a fallout with your best friend last year? It was a year of reveal. And the things that were being revealed to me, I just never expected them. And I realized that like he's doing this so that I'm positioned to solely rely on him. That God, someone once said something to me and it stuck with me. Only God can tell you what is good.
Ooh.
So the closer I am to him, the more he's going to approve of those around me, or the more he's going to make sure that those friendships do not last. Like, it sucks, but I think it's a hard lesson that I would rather learn earlier on in life.
Yeah, and I think with that, it comes the lesson of learning not to attach.
That nothing is yours.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
Yes.
It's difficult, but you
Yes.
just like, you need to learn that everything in life is so temporary. I know that sounds a bit
100%.
bizarre, but it is what it is. You know, people
Yeah.
come and go and things come and go in your life.
Yeah.
But having that power to not be able to attach to things, you know, and people, I know it's
people-
difficult, but like, yo.
But also, how beautiful is that? Because when you learn to not attach and you realize that, like, nothing belongs to me, everything is around, everyone who is around you is who wants to be around you. It's the beauty of the choice. It's
Literally.
not that you have to, but you're choosing to do this thing.
Yeah.
That I think is like, it's worth it. Because
Yeah.
you're around for the right reasons.
It is, and you become like the best version of yourself. So
Yes.
there's this guy that tried his way with me. So
Okay.
he's just like, hey, Nomi, let's go on a date, whatever, cool. Fast forward. I prayed about
Do you
it.
pick you up? You buy you flowers?
No.
Tomatoes. I'm throwing tomatoes.
I wanted us to go for coffee. Who said I drink coffee?
Did you channel man meaning coffee? Like, hello, ask me. Like, what is the
Hey,
vibe?
what's
What do you
the-
feel like
yeah.
doing? Yeah.
You know, and then I prayed about him. I
Mm-hmm.
went to God and I was like, God, there's this guy, you know him, you saw him, you know his name.
Yes.
You know him better than I do.
Yes.
If he's not for me, remove
Right
him.
now.
To me, I woke up with Valente.
Because one thing about God.
I woke up the following day.
Okay, so you woke up and he was gone.
And he was gone.
But wait, Nomi, when you say gone, I need you to explain. Like, he is not responding to your messages?
Yeah. So the last text was, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Look how the tables have turned, because I fall asleep a lot.
Oh, that's okay.
So that was him.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, hey, good morning. It's okay. I totally understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
Till this day.
Till to die.
Did he lose his phone or something?
No. He posted that day. He posted on his
Get
story.
out of here.
Oh, postile.
Also, that's so interesting. I fall asleep on you once, young block,
Hey,
young
yeah.
laugher.
So I was just like, okay, guess Anna, and that is fine. And I think that's what I'm learning also to not attach, because I wasn't attached to him. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, here you are. I like your presence. I like that you can talk. I like that you're an intellect. I like that we have
Yes.
communication can flow.
Yeah.
But let me see what you're about. And I allowed
Yes.
myself for that. I allowed him to be who he was, and I gave him parts of me. I thought, okay, this is I can give you a little bit of this.
Yeah.
So even now that we're not talking, I don't regret anything.
Fair.
And I wasn't attached and I'm not hurt.
Yes.
I'm just like, oh, okay, no, it's okay. I know
Bet.
it's God.
Cool.
That's
No
it.
problem.
Yeah.
I prayed about this and I was shown. Thank you. Move on next. I just think even like indaba yokjola inzima.
It is. No, it is.
No. Like, no. Like,
It is.
I low-key miss high school when it's like you see someone cute, you like them. It's not about who they are. It's not about their family. It's not about their upbringing. It's not about the money. It's just, I like you, you like me.
So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Njani.
Now it's crazy, and especially when you're a praying woman or man. Oh, God will not have it.
You'll be by yourself. He will isolate you. He will. Even now, there is someone who approached me.
Okay.
And you know what? Like, he came very correct. So I'm just like, okay, cool. But naturally, just like you, I'm not wanting to attach because I'm just like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if you've been sent for me. So I'm going to pray on it. And I've been praying. So your days are numbered if you're not meant to be in my life, you know? And I think it also kind of, I agreed because he is nice, but also because I think that when you're hidden by God, you're hidden. Like, people can't find you. They won't be able to get a hold of you.
No.
Like, there's so many things that happen that most people don't understand, but you know
Yeah.
that, like, okay, cool, nothing is happening right now because God doesn't want me in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when the time is right, he will make it.
He will.
He will let it happen.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing about you and I, we will chat till kingdom comes.
Literally. Literally.
But I wanted us to get into your podcast.
Sure.
After school is after school. Firstly, I am
Yes.
terrible when it comes to naming stuff, right?
Okay.
And oftentimes when I had like my radio show names, it was from
Mm-hmm.
friends because I don't know how to name stuff. I'm just like, oh, what do I name this?
I get that
But,
also. It's like I'm having the conversation now. I
yeah.
must also name it
Hey,
on top of
I
that.
like how I guys kind of just
Yeah.
talk and then we'll figure the name thing
Out,
out, you know?
yeah.
But how did that name come about for you? Why did you choose After School is After School?
I had a meeting with my team when we decided we wanted to start a podcast, and I was like, okay, guys, give me ideas, give me names. And like they threw things at me, but I just wasn't moved, to be quite honest. And again, I prayed about it. And I don't know, like my mom grew up Elokshin in KZN, so she just has like these things that she always says around the house.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the next day, just after school was ringing in my head like the whole day. And I was like, you know what, I actually kind of like the sound of that because the idea behind my podcast is for it to be more real, vulnerable, lit than what my YouTube is because YouTube has restrictions. So naturally with my podcast, I'm just kind of like, spadala guys, like we can say anything, we can speak more openly and freely. And then also I kind of like the play on the whole fact that it's after school. Like that was my favorite time of the school day, like when school is out, scream and shout. So yeah, I think I was just trying to allude to the fact that like it's after hours, a little different from my YouTube channel, and also tying in the school theme.
And that's very nice. Hey?
Yes.
Oh, Gulu.
Yo, thanks. Thank you.
How do you then approach content for both? Because like you said, YouTube is a bit different compared to podcast. How is your creative process for both?
Terrible.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Terrible. I think only this year have I come into like an understanding of where I want to take each platform. I was struggling in the beginning because the conversations I was having on my podcast, I was having on YouTube, but they were shorter. So now I'm like, I can't really keep making shorter videos and then like a longer podcast about the same thing. People won't watch both. But now I'm kind of treating my YouTube channel as my visual diary. So if it's a cute little kiki with my sister or a friend, it can definitely go up there. If it's a vlog, obviously it'll go there. But to have a full-on conversation will be done on my podcast. So I think it allows for me to also just have more time to explore a topic and not be worried about how long we're filming for.
Or any restrictions.
Yes, yeah.
Growing with Gugu. I like the name.
I like that. That's cute.
Growing with Gugu.
Yes.
But with both your YouTube and podcast, right? What does growing look like for you in those spaces?
It looks like getting better at my craft. It looks like trial and error. It looks like making mistakes. It looks like whatever Gugu is. I'm also very aware that when my audience met me, like I'm very different to who I was then. So I always try to bridge the gap in that like, oh, this is who I am now. These are my interests. This is what I do for fun. Whereas I know you guys were introduced to like a more poto babe, but like that's not who I am anymore. But I literally think it's giving myself the space to evolve, but also bringing my community along that journey with me so that they don't feel like they're missing out on like too much. I
want to go back to our friendship chat. Do you have friendship standards? And if so, how do you go about picking your friends?
I do have friendship standards. I don't pick my friends, they're brought to me. I used to be like queen of no new friends, no new friends.
That's me. I'm in that era
that
now.
was me.
Yeah.
But then I kind of realized I need new friends because the people that are in my life know the old version of me, and as much as they can appeal to certain parts of who I am now, it would be nice to make a friend off of this version of Gugu without having like a trauma bond of like we went through this and this in the past, without I guess also being held to a standard of who I was in the past, to really be able to meet a friend and be like, this is me and who I am. So I kind of opened myself up to making new friends, and I've been so blessed in that it's always been organic. Like it's never really been like I'm going out looking for this thing, but it's like, oh, I meet someone, like you're nice, I'm nice, we get along, we kiki here and there, and then the friendship grows from there. But I would say like my standards are, and I mean I know this is so vague, but like be a decent brew. Like as a person, be a decent brew, be able to be honest, be able to own up your mistakes, be able to be accountable, reliable. I'm a low maintenance friend, so I will not be blowing you up every day, but it's just a matter of knowing that if I do need you, you will be there as much as I will be there for you. And like I'm not too crazy about us not having the same interests, but I would like some sort of alignment in what it is that we like to do so that we can do those things together.
I like that. Because I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, in as much as we have standards for relationships.
What are your standards for a friend?
Exactly. Like, what does that look like for you? What does a good friend look like for you? You know? And you answered that so beautifully. Literally what I had said, you know? And with that being said, right, to anyone that is watching, and oftentimes, I always say this, I'm like, our industry is very scary. There's a lot
Please repeat
happening.
that.
Our industry is scary.
Yes.
The entertainment industry
Is
is
mad.
a cutthroat
Industry.
space.
Yes.
And it is insane.
Yes.
Right? So to anyone that is watching this right now, and they want to get into that space, they want to tap into the ability of creating content or starting a YouTube channel, right? What would be your most authentic advice to
For
them?
them. Don't care. When you know you are dope and when you know that you're good at something, sometimes it takes the people around you a long time to see it. But just because it's taking them long doesn't change the fact that you are good at that thing and that you're dope at it. So stop caring. I know that when we post, it's very much about the numbers, engagement, subscribers. But I think if you truly learn to enjoy doing it for you, it'll make it that much easier. And I know that, like, oh man, X, Twitter, whatever it's called, is scary. Opinions are scary. But I think that when you are always sure of the reason why you're doing something and the work behind something you've put out, you have no reason not to feel proud or anything but pride for what it is that you've done. So don't care as much. And it's and what I'm saying is something you learn over time. It's not something that you're just going to wake up and boom, bam. I think it comes with a lot of rationalizing, because I'll often be like, okay, this was said to me. It has made me feel some type of way. Why do I feel like that? Who is this person? Is their opinion important to me? Is it stopping me from something? Is it stopping my bills? No, it's not. Therefore, I get to move past it. But it's taken me a very long time to get there. I think when I started my YouTube channel, it was because I was starting to unlock that bit of Gugu where I was like, you know what? I am kind of scared, but I also believe in what it is that I have to share. And I leaned more into the belief more so than the doubt.
Yo, Mama, I would love to keep you here longer than what we have, but we're pressed for time.
Yes.
And just to wrap it up, you know, when it's all said and done, when your purpose has been fulfilled, when God is like, okay, my child,
Yes.
come see your father.
Yes. No, I'm keen. I'm excited.
No, for real,
No,
yeah.
literally.
No, like
for real.
like literally,
Like,
like
literally.
come
Can't wait to see you. I
home.
mean, obviously in due time, Baba.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
not
things to do.
prematurely,
Like,
no.
But like,
yeah. When it's all said and done, what would you like to be remembered for?
Oh, I love this question. For my integrity, for my intentionality, and I want my legacy to be aligned with always making women feel good. As long as I was able to make someone feel less alone, as long as I was able to make someone feel beautiful, as long as I've been able to make someone realize that they're worthy and that they're wonderfully and fearfully made and God makes no mistakes. That's it. I think my biggest thing is impact. Like, how do you make someone feel? How's that interaction with you? Are you building them up? Are you building them down? So yeah, I think it would be really cool that when that day comes, that there are people who are just like, she made me feel good, she made me feel heard and seen, and I feel like I would have done my job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mama, it's been such a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. It's so nice to see you again also.
Ages, but
Yeah.
we did see each other a
No,
couple of
but I
times.
mean, like, to be able to talk like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Where do people find you on social media?
On Instagram, I'm Gugulethu Nyatsumba. On X, I am Gugu_Lethu. On YouTube, it is Uncomfortable Growth. My podcast is After School with your girl, Sis GU. TikTok, it is Gugulethu Nyatsumba.
And there you have it, ending the season with a bang, with the
Yes,
most beautiful
sir.
girl, dropping some knowledge, dropping some wisdom. And thank you so
Yeah,
much. I
of
appreciate
course.
you, and thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Hype family, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for sticking out with us until the final episode. We will definitely catch you in the next season. What is it themed? Well, we don't know. You're going to have to wait and find out. But from me to you, stay blessed, be beautiful, be kind. Nomi the boss chick, Nomi Mapingana. See you on the next season.
Bye.